I don't mean to say I know of my knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of iron in the trade, but my unhallowed hands shall not disturb the wisdom of our ancestors. You will therefore permit me to repeat, Marley was dead.
Whoa.
Scrooge never painted out Marley's name on the sign. He was too cheap to pay for it. So there it stood above their door, Marley and Scrooge. Sometimes people called Scrooge by his own name, and sometimes they called him Marley. And he answered to both names, as long as he got paid. But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained, and as solitary as an oyster. The chilliness within him froze his features, and he spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. A frosty chill surrounded him wherever he went. His office was never a place of joy. He didn't even give way to happier feelings around Christmas. When everyone else around him was spreading cheer, Ebenezer Scrooge did his best to steer clear of any kind of merriment. But it wasn't always that way. Just a decade ago, Scrooge was happy, a good friend to all, and a well-loved member of a local congregation, Minnesota Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, where the congregation gathered every Sunday and always silenced their phones for every service. Again, especially not on Christmas. Then one day, of all the good days of the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his office, grim as ever.
Merry Christmas! May the blessing of the season be with you. I came to drop off some papers for a case you're handling.
Humbug.
Ebenezer Scrooge? Is that you? It's me, Kathleen Coate from MVUUF. Do you remember me from when you were a member years ago? Merry Christmas.
Humbug.
Oh, you don't mean it, do you?
I do. Merry Christmas. What right do you have to be merry? What reason do you have to be merry?
It's the season of hope. What reason do you have to be dismal? What right do you have to be gloomy?
Have you seen the reality of what's going on in the world these days? Human nature is dismal. Merry Christmas, humbug.
If we don't have hope and faith, then doom and hate will win. You used to believe that, Ebenezer. Have you lost your faith, especially at Christmas time?
How can I be any other way in a world such as this, full of fools? The people who are fools deserve to be... Merry Christmas! Out with Merry Christmas! What is Christmas? Christmas is a superstitious holiday. Virgin birth, Son of God, angels we have heard on high. What use is it all? If I had my way, everyone who goes around with Merry Christmas on their lips would be boiled in their own pudding. They would.
Oh my. How vivid.
Hey, you keep Christmas in your way. Let me keep it in mine.
Okay, come on. Why don't you come to MVUUF tomorrow for Christmas service? Maybe the energy there will lighten your spirit.
That place that's been taken over by superstitious nonsense? Where one minute they're talking about reason and religion, and the next they're jabbering on about the magic of the season. Where they celebrate Christmas, a holiday that has nothing to do with UUs. If I am a Unitarian, I don't need Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge.
Go! Afternoon. Be gone with you. And you want all day off tomorrow, I suppose?
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair.
It's only one day a year.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th day of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day.
Thank you, sir.
Just be in earlier the next morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Home to go to sleep. He lived in a dull and dark little house. The fog and frost hung about that night that it seemed like as if the weather sat in mournful meditation on all of the windows of Scrooge's house.
Humbug! It's the wind! It's still humbug. I don't believe it.
Ebenezer Scrooge!
Hey, oh, now. What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
In life, I was your partner, Marley.
Possible. How could that be?
You don't believe in me?
I don't.
You see and hear me. You say you believe in reason and fact. Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing upsets them. A slight disturbance of the stomach makes them cheats. You might be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or a crumb of cheese, or a fragment of underdone potato. There is more gravy about you than the grave, whatever you are. Dreadful spirits, dreadful hallucination. Why do you bother me?
Do you believe in me or not?
No. I must. But why are you in chains?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it, link by link and yard by yard. I took no joy in life. I gave to no one. And by thinking Christmas was a humbug, I did not keep it. And by my death, you inherited my trait. This is my chain. Is its pattern strange to you? Because you're not seeing the same fate, and it will weigh you down. I'm here tonight to warn you. You have a chance and a hope of escaping my destiny.
Marley, you were always a good friend to me. But now you come to scare me. And it's working.
You'll be visited by 3 spirits.
Are these spirits, do they have anything to do with being rid of my chances of becoming like you?
They do.
I'd rather not.
Without their visit, you have no hope of escaping the path I tread. Expect the first one tomorrow at the bell tolls 1.
Could I do all 3 at once and have it over with?
Expect the second one the next night at the same hour. And the third before the final stroke of midnight fades. You see me no more, but do not forget what I have told you.
His visitor gone, Scrooge examined the door by which the ghost had entered. It was double locked, as he had locked it with his own hands, and the bolts were undisturbed. He tried to say humbug, but stopped at the first syllable, and being much in need of rest after such a traumatic event, collapsed into his chair without undressing and fell asleep instantly. When Scrooge awoke, it was so dark that looking out from his chair, he could not tell the window from the walls of his room. He was trying to pierce the darkness with his beady, ferret eyes when the chimes of a neighboring church struck, so he listened for the hour.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
That's me.
Who are you?
I am the ghost of UU Christmas Past. I really wanted to sing in the choir of angels, but I know too much about UU history, and so they assign me to people like you who have become lax in their faith. You think UU's had nothing to do with Christmas? Well, I'm here to change your thinking. Come on, let's go. We have a lot to see.
It's supposed to be about Christmas, not Thanksgiving.
Well, the Puritans really didn't like Christmas very much because it was too much partying and people got lewd and they shot guns into the air.
Sounds like a lot of folks these days, but it has nothing to do with UUs.
Well, yes, it did. Actually, the Puritans squelched Christmas celebrations for 200 years, but the early Universalists actually openly celebrated Christmas. They even risked being thrown into jail. And then the Unitarians joined them, and in the 1800s, they advocated for public observance of Christmas. You see, they wanted a secular holiday to celebrate joy and hope.
So what? Some people want to party. That has nothing to do with religion.
Come on, look.
What is this place?
That is the home of a great man and a great author. His name was Charles, and he was to change the spirit of Christmas. He criticized the greed of the wealthy people towards the poor and the working people. Charles Dickens lifted up his message of goodwill towards all, and he gave it to the world as a Christmas gift. He was a champion of the poor, and as such, he became a Unitarian because it upheld his values.
It's a familiar tale, but I see no Christmas trees. There are no holiday songs being sung. There are no feasts being kept. How can this be about Christmas?
Well, he wasn't the only one shaping Christmas to come. Look. There is another Unitarian celebrating the joy of Christmas. That's James Pierpont, and he wrote a song that would be sung for generations. He wasn't even thinking about Christmas when he wrote it, but even you, Ebenezer, have sung this song at Christmas time.
I wrote this song for Thanksgiving for my congregation in Savannah, Georgia, where it doesn't even snow, and it became a Christmas time sensation. And I'd like everyone to join us in singing.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight! Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh! Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh!
Very nice. Whoa. Very nice.
Oh, that is a joyous tune. But it's about nothing more than a sleigh ride.
Well, you are a tough cookie. Look,
A Christmas tree. What of it?
a Christmas tree. What of it, you say? In the 1830s and in the United States, hardly anybody had a decorated tree in their home. Watch.
I see a man coming out of church. It's a minister.
Uh-oh.
coming down the street and walking towards his home. And he's entering his parlor, and there is a Christmas tree decorated with candles. It's beautiful, but exceedingly dangerous. No wonder life expectancies were lower in those days. Lit candles on trees.
When I was growing up in Germany, we lit candles on the tree every season to celebrate Christmas. I want my children to know that wonder and joy. Until this day, there has never been a Christmas tree decorated indoors, but now there is.
Beautiful.
That is Reverend Charles Follen, a Unitarian minister from Germany. And soon members of his congregation and others began decorating trees in their home. And from then on, it became a Christmas tradition. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
It is a thing of beauty, but trees and jingle bells are superstitious nonsense. Take them or leave them. They are simply diversions from the cold and dark of winter. They have nothing to do with Christmas. Bah, humbug.
Well, you know, there were others as well.
You know what? Let Unitarians have those if they wish. It's not as if Unitarians wrote actual Christmas carols. Yeah, I can't stand those songs. It came upon a midnight clear, and I heard the bells on Christmas Day. Superstitious nonsense.
Well, actually, both of those songs have Unitarian connections. It Came Upon a Midnight Clear was written by Edmund Hamilton Sears, a Unitarian minister for his congregation during the Mexican-American War when he was looking for hope. And Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, also a Unitarian, wrote the words to I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. You see, Christmas is a time about bringing light into the darkness and hope to the hopeless.
No. Spirit, how can Christmas be a Unitarian Universalist holiday? Humbug. Spirit, this is too much. Take me home.
Scrooge was conscious of being exhausted and overcome by an irresistible drowsiness. Back in his room, he barely had time to sit down before he sank into a heavy sleep, and another day passed. Awaking in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore and sitting up in his chair to get his thoughts together, Scrooge had no occasion to be told that the bell was striking again.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
How can anyone not look at you? Bit much, don't you think? But convey me where you will. Last night, I learned a lesson which is working on me still. Tonight, if you have needs to teach me, let me learn by it.
Then touch my sweater and come with me.
It's MUUF. I know this place well. Oh, I stopped going long ago. Oh, stop coming. It's Barb Cratchit and little Sadie.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Mom, I'm going to invite everyone here to volunteer at the food shelf.
Sadie, you're a blessing to us all.
May we all be blessed with love.
Spirit, tell me, why should this child be concerned about the needs of others? It's a cruel world, and it's just a fact that some people have things and others don't. The Cratchits hardly have enough to get by on. They should be taking care of themselves and not others.
Scrooge, you are wealthy, but pay Barb Cratchit but a meager little salary. Yet here she and Sadie are surrounded by friends and by community. I ask you, who is richer? Here the people keep Christmas year-round by supporting each other and their neighbors. That's what a Unitarian Universalist congregation does. They share their gifts, their joys, their sorrows, and they know through community that their joys will be celebrated and their burdens lessened.
Spirit, how can that be?
Now is the time in our service when we, as a community, take a few moments to share our joys and sorrows.
With each other, and I hear how they share their joys and sorrows with one another. But, Spirit, what difference does that make in the world?
Scrooge, you only have to wait but a moment longer.
Each month at our congregation, we share our offering with a different community organization. This month's offering is being shared with Reclaim, whose mission is to increase access to mental health care for queer and trans youth, so they can reclaim their lives from oppression in all its forms. Reclaim provides financial accessibility to specialized mental health care to queer and trans youth ages 12 to 25 and their families. They also engage in community events and offer training and consultation services to help their partners improve their ability to work with queer and trans folks. We thank you for generously supporting this work to better our community for all. Will the ushers please come forward to take the offering? Our offertory this morning is number 240, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, verses 1, 2, and 5.
And while them sing, the words repeat.
found himself once more in his chair as the day passed and the clock struck 12. He looked around for a ghost and did not see it. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he beheld a solemn figure draped and hooded coming towards him. Its mysterious presence filled him with a solemn dread. He knew no more, for the spirit stood silent.
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas is yet to come? You're here to show me shadows of things that have not yet happened but will. Is that so, Spirit?
The spirit raised its head. That was the only answer he received.
Ghost of the future. You frighten me more than all the other specters I have seen. But I know that you mean me well. Lead on. Spirit, it's the UU Fellowship, and it's Christmas Eve. But there's no Christmas being kept. Why is there no Christmas being kept? Do they believe, like I did, that it's all humbug? Have they forgotten the Universalists who risked prison to celebrate Christmas? Have they forgotten Charles Dickens and the Christmas Carol? Have they forgotten the gifts of Christmas trees and jingle bells? Do they still worry about whether Jesus is God and angels are real? Have they forgotten that every night a child is born is a holy night? Have they forgotten to give to themselves and to each other the way we saw little Sadie doing? Spirit, I'm not the man I was. I will not be the man I was. Promise me that these shadows that you've shown me may not happen if I live a better life. I will honor Christmas in my heart all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future, and those spirits will live within me. And I will not shut out the lessons they teach. Spirit? Spirit? It's a new day. And I'm a new man. I feel as light as a feather, as merry as an angel, and as joyful as a child. Merry Christmas to everybody!
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year to the whole world. What day is it? I don't know what day it is. I don't know how long I've been with the spirits. I don't know anything. I feel like I've been reborn.
Scrooge heard the bells again. Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head.
Neighbor! What day is it?
It's Christmas Day, Mr. Scrooge. I'm Emily, by the way.
Oh, good. I haven't missed it. The spirits did it all in one night. Of course they can. Dear Emily, are you familiar with the store down the street and at the corner?
You mean Lund's? Yeah, I work there in the bakery.
Do you know if they still have any of those special Christmas cakes for sale?
Well, a lot of the fancy cakes weren't picked up, but the store's closed because it's Christmas.
Oh. Oh, no. No.
Look, I need to go down there because I hid some gifts for my wife in my locker. I could pick up one of the fancy cakes that didn't get picked up yesterday and bring it to you, and you could pay for it on the app.
Oh, generous soul you are. Thank you so much. And by the way, Emily, may I invite you and your wife to my house for dinner next week? I've been a bad neighbor for way too long, and I want to do better.
That sounds really good. I'll have to ask her. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas, Emily. I will call an Uber to deliver the cake. And I will give Cratchit a raise. No. I'll double her salary. And I'll work to make our office happy and healthy again. And I won't miss another Christmas at the UU Fellowship.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. He and the Cratchits became great friends, and he trained Barb to take over the business so he could retire. Then he spent all his time volunteering at the food shelf and teaching classes to the kids at the fellowship. He became as good a friend and as good a neighbor and as good a person as the whole city knew, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas in his heart. May that truly be said of each and every one of us.
May God bless us. May the Spirit bless us, everyone.